Hey there! In this video, I want to show you some tips and tricks that I've learned while creating graphics using Canva Pro. Canva Pro is a paid feature. You pay a monthly subscription, which is only $13 per month at the time that I'm recording this video. I absolutely think it's worth it to invest in this because it comes with stock photos, templates, and you can upload custom fonts, and there's all sorts of features that I can't even list. I'm really excited to share these 23 tricks with you, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so now we are logged into the back end of Canva Pro. The first thing you're going to see is different options for designing presentations, social media, video, anything you can think of. So the first thing I want to show you is setting up your brand kit. If you do this first thing, it's going to make your life a whole lot easier when you're making graphics for your own business. I have mine set up here. This is my main palette that you see on my website and on my blog. And I noticed when I'm making graphics for Pinterest and Instagram especially, I wanted to have different shades of each of the main colors. So what I did was I created separate palettes for the main color here is the same, so this is my light green, and then I created shades going lighter in color for each one. Okay, so you're gonna use this website here. I think you say it like colors.co. And so what I do is I copy and paste. That's called the hex code. I'm going to put it right here. And then do that for all of your main colors in your color palette. And then this little trick here is I view the shades so I can go down to the darkest color to the lightest color. So the next thing I want to show you here in the brand kit is adding in your logo. I've added one here already. There's two more that I want to add, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. This just makes them so much easier to access when you're creating graphics. And then the last thing we want to go over is fonts. You can upload custom fonts if you choose to. Honestly, the Canva database has so many fonts to choose from, so that's completely up to you. I think there's a limit. I think you can add up to 10 fonts. And then you can set your brand fonts so they match up with the branding that you have on your website. So this is your main heading, your subheading, and your body text. So that's going to be easy to access too as you create different designs. Okay, so you access the integrations here. I had to move it over because my face is blocking it. As you can see, there's Pexels and Pixabay. I believe those are for stock photos. You can add emojis. Here you can embed video content into your graphics. Here's Giphy if you want to add GIFs. And then a couple others that stand out to me is Bitmoji. If you like to use that, you can add your own Bitmoji into your graphics pretty easily. And also if you use Typeform to create surveys and contact forms. So all you do is you open up a design and you go all the way down here on the left hand side on the menu, you click more, and here are all your options for integrating different apps. Okay, so I highly recommend that you create folders right off the bat because it's going to make things so much easier for you down the road as you build up your list of graphics and templates that you have saved in Canva. So here I am in the back end, and I'm going to click on this option here, all your folders. And then from there you can click create new folder. And these are the different folders that I have for my own business. So I'm going to show you what I have here. Within a folder you can create subfolders, and then you can also move designs in there as you create new ones. So here I've got some Pinterest templates, email templates, Instagram templates. I can even show you some more, some stock photos and some branded photo shoots that I've done in the past. So then I'll also show you here from the design page. This is the list of all the designs I've ever made. You can click the 3 dots in the top right corner of a template and then select Move to Folder. And I just try to be really diligent about that so I can find that graphic later on when I need to download it again or edit it or make a copy of it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you is how to select templates if that's what you want to do. One example I've done recently is searching for carousel posts to create on Instagram. Those are the ones that have multiple slides and you swipe over. So Canva already has templates created with that in mind. And as you can see, some of these have multiple options in them. Most of them it looks like they've got between 3 and 6. So I'm just going to see what this one offers. So what you do is you select this. I'm going to add a new page so we can put that one there. Alright, so we have this template selected to create a carousel post on Instagram. So now you probably want to have it set up to have your picture and your brand colors and your brand fonts. It's pretty easy to do now that we have the brand kit set up. I think for this one I'm going to prefer a pretty light background, so I'm going with my lighter palette there. And then I want the font to be almost black, so it's easy for me to play around. And then I'm gonna hit the delete key and see, oops. Okay, so yeah, this is different layers. I'm going to move it out of the way for a second and see what this does. Okay, so this is a frame, which I'll talk about in a moment with more detail. But here I can add in, looking for my folder. Okay, so in my folder, I'm looking for pictures of me. There we go. So I'm going to pick this first one, and then you kind of slide it into that frame. Pretty cool. And then I'm going to move this back over to where it was. Okay. And then you can also rotate it too, because I think I prefer the leaves kind of looking like that. Cool. So then we can do the same thing here. I will select that same green that I used and then change all of these to the same black that I used. And then I like that leaf too, so I'm going to pick a different shade of green for that. And then I can also make it bigger. Cool. So that's basically how you take a template on Instagram and make it your own. Again, I could select my brand fonts if I wanted to. They should be right here under their own section, and then you can see you have your uploaded fonts here, and then you can search for, maybe you want a handwriting type of font, so it'll show you everything that they have in their system for you to use. So I'll go ahead and select one just to see what it looks like. So the next thing I want to go over is transparency. This is a neat little trick if you wanted to put this in the background, and then I could make it look really faded, like it's hardly even there. You just click on this button here. We're gonna make it, like, the more transparent you make it, the more opaque it is. And then you can also type in a number if you wanted something specific, like 50. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you is the layers that I mentioned. You can set certain things to go in a certain order, kind of similar to what you would do in Photoshop. So I'm going to zoom back in here. I could set this, not even sure what to call it, let's see what it says, botanical round frame. So this round frame, I'm gonna click the position button here, and you can bring it backward or forward. Pretty neat. And then I could also put the font, the text over it if I wanted to. And then they've got these options here to put it center and then put it in the middle. And then I could easily just change the color of it again, make it bigger. And this thing is pretty much what I use all the time, is positioning things and putting it where I want it. Alright, this is another tool I don't see people taking advantage of often enough, and that is the frames. So this is under the elements section. You've got frames here that are different sizes, and then we've got grids. So I'm gonna pull up a grid first. Here's one that will take up the whole graphic, and then I'll do this one as well. I'm gonna set this background to white for just a moment. Alright, so if you've got a collage, there's a button here for spacing if you want to have no pixels of background separating them. And then I'm just gonna pick some photos at random here. So when you go to select a picture, you really just drag and drop it into the grid, and then it crops the picture for you, so I can move this around. That makes it real easy for me. And then I can do something similar with the collage too. So it's just dragging and dropping it, and then I can drag the photo around so I can choose what is seen on the actual graphic. Okay, so this is called grouping items together, and what I'm going to do is, that vector's in my way, so I'm going to shrink that down. I want to select the text here. As you can see, all three of them are highlighted. Then you can group it together. Okay, so I want all of those fonts to be front and center. So I'm going to hit center and then middle. So that way I know that the whole group together is in the center of the graphic. I could also ungroup it, because maybe I just want these two to be centered together, and then I want them more near the top, like that. And then this one I want centered on its own. So there's different ways to play around with that. Grouping things together really makes it pretty seamless to create graphics, especially if you have a lot of different elements and different layers. Okay, so this next tip is my #1 tip for saving you time when you create graphics, and that's to duplicate your pages. So this is a template I made from scratch here with some of the tricks I've showed you so far, and I have a brand new blog post that's talking about a totally different topic. So how do I save time? You definitely don't have to create this from scratch. What I do is I duplicate the page, and then I'll change the text here, let's say 45 ways to save money on your taxes. And then I'm going to delete that because I want to use a totally different image. And then I can just play around and move this how I want it. And that's basically how you make new graphics for social media in no time at all, is just to duplicate the template that you already have and plug in the new information. Alright, so I talked a little bit about using elements and vectors in Canva, and now I want to show you how to find them using keywords. So for this one, just to show you an example, this one was part of the template already. If you click info, you can see who created it, what the title is of the design, and then a couple of keywords associated with it. So that's kind of one way I use to get started. If I see one that I like here in the elements section and I want to find more, those keywords kind of give me an idea of how I can find them. So let's see. I like foliage, so let's try that first. So you have all these different options come up, and if you click this button here, you can essentially pick vectors that match your brand colors if you want to by copy and pasting the color code in here and click apply. So let's just say I want to find something that's red. You can also choose static versus animated, free versus pro. So now I'm seeing a bunch of options that have that kind of a light red color with a pink to it. And then here they'll give you even more suggestions. So maybe I want some vines. So another trick I wanted to show you was how to save some of your favorite elements so you don't have to go back and try to find them later on. These are just a few that I've looked up recently, and I really liked this one, the laptop. So you have a couple options here. You can add to likes, but I prefer to add things into folders, so I'm going to say favorite elements is the name of my new folder that I'm going to make. And then once I fill up that folder with a couple designs that I want to use, it also recommended a mouse that looks like it matches the same aesthetic. So I'm going to go ahead and save that to that folder as well. And then later on I can actually move that folder to be a subfolder within my business folder. So I have everything in one place. It's really awesome. So another element that people like to use in Canva is creating borders to put around their graphics. So really, this one just requires some searching, and then again, just seeing what's similar, what keywords are people looking for, and so you can find one that matches your style. And as you can see, there's a couple here that are animated, Some are square, some are rectangular. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like if I add it to my graphic. So again, I use the center and middle alignment quite a bit. And I'm trying to make it fit. And then I want to put it all the way to the back behind everything. So this one here is a corner frame, and if I wanted to have it go on the opposite corner as well, I just click that duplicate button over here, and then I'm going to rotate it to 180 degrees, and then I can position it. I'm going to put bottom right, and I'm going to make sure that this one's in the corner too. So top left it is, and again I can move everything forward that I want to be seen and have the border kind of be more obscure. I'm gonna make both of them more transparent. And then this one does allow me to apply my brand colors, so let's see. That looks pretty good. Here's a good one. So I'm going to take this and have it cover the entire graphic, and then I can change the colors on it to match my brand. I'm going to see what the browns look like, and then I can set it to be backward, and then I'm going to remove the borders that I used before. And it almost looks like a completely different graphic just by adding in that new element. If you don't have branded photos for your business yet, don't worry. If you're using Canva Pro, you have a whole database to use stock photos. So I'm going to show you how you can find some. Here I clicked on the photo section, and then first it's showing me what's trending right now, and then it gives you some category ideas up here at the top. And let's say I want a coffee flat lay. Let's see what comes up. So I got quite a few options here, and then I'm going to go ahead and select this one. If you wanted to have one that matches your brand, or if you want a square, vertical, horizontal, you can select those options as well. So I clicked yellow and a horizontal photo. Pretty neat. Whole different set of options just showed up there. And then when I click it, it shows up on my graphic. Let's say I want, let's have one with a little bit of shape. That one looks fun. So then I can click on a stock photo that I like and then drag and drop it in there. So it's as simple as that, selecting some stock photos on Canva Pro. So what if you want to make your text a little bit more unique? There's a couple ways you can do that. So here I'm going to show you how you can curve this text. You have to click on the text that you want to change, and then there's an option right here that says Effects, and here I'm going to show you how you can curve it. And then you can change how drastic that curve is, and as you can see, that makes quite a difference. I can also rotate it and make it curve around this circle. I think that would look really neat. So I'm also just using the arrows on my keyboard to move it. And then, like I showed you previously, I can also group this, make it more centered. So here is the shadow. You can change the color and the transparency. So I like it to look a little bit more subtle. So I changed the color from black to this seafoam green. And then you can also adjust the blur, the direction, and the offset, which is how far away it is from the main text. So you can see how much that changes that. And let's just pretend that this font here is going to link back to my website. So all I have to do is click More. Click the link here. And then I'm going to type in my URL. And then it usually adds this underline. I'm on a MacBook, so I'm going to hit Command U to get that to go away. And then I always double check before I download it to make sure that the link is still there. So, and then when you go to download it, you download it as a PDF instead of an image, and the link will work. Okay, so now I want to show you how to make a mock-up, which is something that you can use to promote your digital products or a free download that you want to use to grow your email list. So what I did was, this is a checklist that I have as a downloadable for my email list. So for my email list, I save it as a PDF to share with them, but in this case, I went ahead and downloaded it as a zip file, and each page is its own separate PNG photo. So after that downloaded, I went over here and I uploaded it into my images. And then after that, I go into Elements and I search for, I like to use the iPhone, the laptop, the computer. So I have those saved under my Elements. So usually what I search for is laptop frame or iPhone frame, because I want that grid to be able to fill in. So here's an example. So I'm going to have that fill out right there. And then I can put that in there as its own separate image. And then I can go ahead and add the phone that I was talking about. Just put it at an angle. And that's basically the same thing as just giving people a little bit of a preview for the product that you're selling, and they can see it visually, imagining that they're holding it, looking at it from their iPhone or looking at it on their computer. So Canva makes it really easy to make mock-ups as well. So this graphic is currently sized for Instagram, and if I wanted to repurpose this on Pinterest, all I do is I go in here and I search for the Pinterest sizing, and it's going to copy and resize it for me. So after I do that, I rename the file so I don't get confused. So I'm going to call this my Pinterest template. And then, as you can see, it kind of changes the layout a little bit. So I can go ahead and make this look better for the Pinterest layout. So in this case, I would want to make the fonts really big so they'll stand out on the Pinterest platform. So I would go ahead and make all of the font sizes larger. Just make everything a little bit bigger since I have room for it in the different graphic size. So with that being said, I could resize this again if I wanted it to be a blog graphic, a YouTube thumbnail. Pretty much every option you can think of is in here, or you can even add in your own custom dimensions. And all it does is it makes a copy of the graphic, so you just, like I said, relabel it so you can keep everything organized. So this is one of my favorite things to do on Canva, which is create memes and use GIFs to create short videos to share on social media. This is honestly pretty easy to do once you have your templates created. So yes, here on the left-hand side, I clicked more all the way at the bottom, and you're going to go over here to Giphy. I hope I'm saying that right. And they'll show you different options every day. I think this is based on what's trending, and you can search for what you're looking for. So let's go ahead. I have a lot saved here. I want to show you how to make one from scratch. Okay, so I'm gonna make this, move it around, and of course I'm gonna make the font size much bigger. So I size the graphics to 25%. I like to make sure that I can read it. Even make it a little bit bigger. And it's basically that simple to create a meme. In order to save it, this is page 34, so when I click download, I save it as an MP4 file because I find that the GIF files don't load very well when I tried to schedule them on social media for some reason. So I always change it to the MP4 video, and then I'm going to select that page 34, and that will be the only graphic out of that design that downloads. So when you're done designing your graphics and you're ready to download them, I wanted to show you a few important things to know when you download. Depending on the situation, there are several different file types for you to select. I think if it's a download that you're selling or you're using it to grow your email list, absolutely use the PDF print. And then if you're creating graphics to use on your blog, instead of using the PNG, I select the JPEG option. JPEG has a smaller file size, so it's faster to load on websites, which is really important if you're trying to rank on Google. So after I select the file type, if it's a JPEG, I can lower the quality of the image. I don't want to lower it too much because I want to keep the integrity of the photo intact. So I usually set it between 65 and 75. And then of course I double check it after it's downloaded to see that the file size and the photo size looks good and it's not pixelated. Thank you so much for watching my tutorial video. I hope you found it really helpful if you're just getting started with Canva Pro. Let me know in the comments below if you have any other questions, and I'm happy to make more tutorial videos.